Inshallah, if you're willing to stay behind, do come close. If you're staying behind, do come close, inshallah. And yeah, Basit, can you close the door, please? Close the door, please. Close the door, close the door. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم ابسط علينا رحمتك وانشر علينا من حكمتك وافتح لنا فتوح العارفين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم آمين يا رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Seems a bit noisy today, I don't know, because people are busy talking outside. It's not even the fans, it's not the fans, I can hear people's voices. It's outside here. No, that's fine. Let the brothers finish praying, inshallah. Let the brothers finish praying. Jazakumullah khair. All right, we'll continue. In the meantime, inshallah, we don't have to wait for them because they're going to make us waste time. And I'm trying to finish off Babu Nawaqidul Wudu. When I say Babu Nawaqidul Wudu, the chapter of Wudu nullification. Inshallah, today we'll do whatever it takes, even if it's just summarizing on every single part that relates to the nullifiers of wudu, so we can finish it off and then get into the other topic, inshallah. That's the main aim. So في الأسبوع الماضي in our last class في الدرس الأخير أين وقفنا? Where did we stop? Does anyone remember? Do you remember exactly where we stopped? Is it alive? Okay. Because as for some they can't attend and they might want to watch this live. So if the link can be sent to them on WhatsApp inshallah. Barakallahu fikum. أين وقفنا؟ هل أحدكم يتذكر? Does any one of you remember inshallah? You seem like you haven't been doing your revision. Khair. We stopped at... Yes, all right? Okay, inshallah. We stopped at وَبِالشَّكِّ فِي الْحَدَثِ وَبِالشَّكِّ فِي الْحَدَثِ. I need to have doubt whether you have fallen into a state of hadath or not. And we said that there are two stages of this. There's either the person who does not have wudu and they doubt, have I fallen into the state of hadath? Actually, there's three. And the second one is the one that has done wudu. They are certain that they have their wudu, but they don't know whether they nullified. Basically, they broke their wudu after they have done the wudu. What does that mean? You've done your wudu. You know you have wudu. You remember when you did it, but you don't remember after that. Did you go to the toilet again, or something happened for you to nullify your wudu? You're not sure. But then there's a case of the person that literally, as we said, he might not have wudu, but he's uncertain. Did I really? Basically, he's not sure. But the third person is the one that literally, while in salah, they're in salah. Obviously, while you're in salah, you are sure that you have wudu, sah? But then in salah, you have two types of people. One, either they doubt that they don't have wudu, whereas the other one, they know they have wudu, but they're not sure, have they broken the wudu or not? That's what we said. But we said to make it very sure, al-yaqinu la yazulu bil-shak. This is the qaida, which is the principle. Certainty is not literally just, what is it? Yeah. Certainty is not removed with doubt. You cannot say doubt comes before certainty. That's not how it works. وَقُلْنَا أَنَّ هَذَا. If a person falls into this position, ينقسم على إلى ثلاثة. It divides this three, either one of these three, or you fall into one of these categories. الوهم أو الشك أو اليقين. You either are not certain at all. We call that al-wahm. Basically, your probability, you believe 100% I don't have wudu, مثلا. Or you're not sure at all that you don't have wudu. So when you're not sure at all whether you have wudu or you don't, or you fall into hadith or you haven't, then you are in a stage of al-wahm. You are in a state of al-wahm, in that stage, in that category. I don't want you to memorize this. Don't really focus on it. We're going to come to the point, to what I need you to go through. But if you're 50-50, we call it shak. But then beyond that, for the one who is obviously, after you pass the level of shak, you only have certainty. You're not 50-50, you're certain you have wudu, or you've fallen into a state of hadith. You can't say, I am pretty sure I do have my wudu, without you having enough certainty to say, yes, I have my wudu. The moment you say, I'm pretty sure, then that means, yes, you do. Because all of the qara'in, when we say qara'in, all of the evidences lead you back to the same what? To the same position. I have wudu. But then when the evidences that you have around you do not lead you to the fact that you have wudu or you don't, you're struggling basically. Do you get what I mean? Now this brings us to one type of person that we didn't look into. A person known as al-mustankih. You will never find it in the text. I'm not sure if you would, but I don't think so. Who is al-mustankih? Al-mustankih is a person that falls into chronic doubt. Chronic doubt. Severe doubt. Very bad doubt. They are doubtful in every single minute. Sometimes some people are doubtful every single salah. Every salah enters, they're not sure do they have wudu or they don't. They're not sure have they broken their wudu or they haven't. Understood? This exists. Haven't you seen brothers or sisters that suffer from a lot of doubt when they're in salah? They doubt if they've even done Allahu Akbar. Basically, takbiratul ihram. There are so many of those. There are those that when they read Surah Al-Fatiha, they doubt their Surah Al-Fatiha and they have to repeat Fatiha. Basically, it's as if they're doing ruqyah for themselves in that same salah. That's how many times they repeat the Fatiha. Yes, there are people that suffer from that. We've seen that firsthand. There was a brother that came here once. SubhanAllah, I was in salah, literally leading the salah, and he was right behind me. He repeated At-Tahiyyatu like 5 times. At-Tahiyyatu, At-Tahiyyatu, At-Tahiyyatu. And he's saying, no, I don't think if this is the right one. He keeps on repeating it. What does this person do? This person ignores that doubt and moves on. Particularly in hadath or wudu. Basically it's the same. Either you have wudu or you don't, or you've fallen in a state of hadath or you haven't. Basically you've released anything from your body. Or maybe you've gone to sleep or that. If a person falls into this category, khalas, you ignore it. This is for the person who goes through chronic doubt. But could you say, if, for example, in this salah, you doubted yourself, and in the next salah you doubted yourself, that's enough to establish that you are a person that falls into chronic doubt? No. But if it happens 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, maybe in the same day, or in a span of 2 days, then now you're starting to fall into that category. Because it's coming back every now and then. However, not for you and I, particularly me, I would say for myself, that this is what happens. You come to salah, you're thinking of every single business and family issue that's going around your mind, and then you're doubting, how many rak'ah have I done? Did I not break my wudu? Nah, that deal was the best. I need to go for it. And then you're planning for the next thing that you're going to do after salah. And you don't even know what you're doing in salah. You don't even know where you stand. No, you're not in chronic doubt. You have a problem in the mind. So I'm one of them. Yeah, Mustankih is the one who suffers from chronic doubt. But not this one. This one is not this one is not a chronic doubter, no. This one is a big problematic person. Yeah, he has a shaitan doubt. Yeah, exactly. We need you a lot for those terminologies. Okay. Now what do we have next? وبمس الذكر بباطن الكف أو بباطن الأصابع كما يقول المصنف رحمه الله تعالى نفعنا الله به وبعلومه في الدارين. بباطن الكف أو بباطن الأصابع أو بجنبيها ولو بأصبع زائد إذا أحس وباللمس وهو على 4 أقسام. إن قصد اللذة ووجدها فعليه الوضوء، وإن وجدها ولم يقصدها فعليه الوضوء، وإن قصدها ولم يجدها فعليه الوضوء، وإن لم يقصد اللذة ولم يجدها فلا عليه الوضوء اتفاقا. ولا ينتقض الوضوء بمس دبر ولا أنثيين ولا بمس فرج صغيرة ولا قيء ولا بأكل لحم جزور ولا حجامة ولا فصد ولا بقهقهة في الصلاة ولا بمس امرأة فرجها وقيل إن ألطفت فعليها الوضوء. That's the end of باب نواقض الوضوء. We're going to cover all of that inshallah. They all relate to one another, that's why. They're not difficult. They sound like too much, but actually they're not. They're all the same thing. Understood? The first thing of what we're going to look at is massu dhakar, and we did mention about this last week, so I'm just going to brush through it to finish off. Touching the organ itself, the penis for a man. Touch with your hand like this with your palm, you don't have wudu. It does not matter whether purposely or not. Is that clear? And we said that there were 2 ahadith which the scholars of hadith, they have reconciled. They said that the second hadith, إِذَا مَسَّ ذَكَرَهُ فَلْيَتَوَضَّأ, is the hadith that came after the first one. Understood? The first hadith, he said that only when a person touches, if undeliberately, you're fine. The hadith itself goes as, I don't know if I have it here. I have it in the hashiyah, but I don't know if this one has the hadith. Yeah, he says, إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا بِضْعَةٌ مِّنْكَ. The hadith says, إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا بِضْعَةٌ مِّنْكَ. It's part of you, yeah. But the ulama say of hadith, this hadith is abrogated by the other hadith. إِذَا مَسَّ ذَكَرَهُ فَلْيَتَوَضَّأ. Because that's the last hadith the Messenger said. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. إِذَا مَسَّ ذَكَرَهُ فَلْيَتَوَضَّأ. And the best of way you might find this, I wouldn't even tell you go to Muwatta. If you want to go through these hadith, then go to Bulugh al-Maram. They explain it to you beautifully, especially its Sharh Subul Salam. Subul Salam, amazing. Very beautiful book. That's why I said these books are nice, but they've been abused. That's the truth. Huh? You think the books? The books are nice, but they are abused. Yeah. They are a book of a hadith, but for the Malikiyah they use what? Al-Muwatta mainly. Now these are hadith that you find here, they're even narrated in Al-Muwatta as well. Okay? Bulugh al-Maram is Sharh Subul al-Salam. That's the best sharh you can find. Subul al-Salam, Sharh Bulugh al-Maram. Yes. So the hadith that comes as إِذَا مَسَّ ذَكَرَهُ فَلْيَتَوَضَّأ abrogates the previous hadith that the organ is part of your body. But that's not the case anymore. The moment you touch it, your wudu is gone. If you touch it with your palm or the sides of your fingers or your palm, is that clear? But if you touch it like this, you do have your wudu still. I hope that's very clear. Now, does this include your testicles? No. People mistakenly include the testicles in. No, it doesn't. That's why I said this is all connected, and I'll tell you what they mention as testicles. Does it include your back passage, the rectum? No. The rectum does not nullify your wudu. I think there's an English version, isn't it? Is there an English version of Bulugh al-Maram? Okay, you can download it, inshallah. Understood? Touching the rectum does not nullify your wudu either as well. Although in other madhahib it does. Like according to the Maliki madhab, it does not. Because they are not parts of your body that literally are connected to any shahwa, any desire whatsoever. They're not. They're not. But your actual organ itself, which is the penis, then yes, it does have that. So the ulama say, to disconnect yourself from all of those, you must not touch yourself, whether deliberately or undeliberately, with parts that literally might lead to something else. That's why on this side it's forgiven. And there are many other wisdoms as well, inshallah. So that's in regards to touching your private part. Lakin what if this person, which is unnecessary to look into, but I just want to give you some beauty of fiqh. What if this person is a hermaphrodite? Do you know hermaphrodite? You don't know hermaphrodite? You do hermaphrodite? Hermaphrodite is a person that was born who has two private parts, both the male private part and also the female part as well. Do they nullify their wudu if they touch themselves? The answer is yes and no. That will depend. If they've grown up and then they've noticed that the female organ is the one that's functioning and then they still have the male one, then it does not. Because it's as if it doesn't exist anymore. It does not function. Does that make sense? May Allah not show us, but there are people that are born like that. For people that are born like that, you have to see where do they fall? What category do they fall into? Are they males or are they females? Not non-binary and other alphabets. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the main genders that we have. As they say, you're born today, you die tomorrow, you're buried in the ground. If archaeologists will come and literally unravel you where you are, they will literally define you as a man or a woman. There's nothing else. You won't come as a third person. There's only a man or a woman. That's how it works. So that's how it is, inshallah. What if a person, they have their organ itself, which is their penis, half cut? Do they nullify their wudu? Half cut. There are people like that. Didn't we mention about the eunuchs last week? These were literally, they had their testicles removed. But they have the organ itself. But the organ will be of service, of course, in this stage. Do you get what I mean? Some people have it half cut. If you even have it half cut as well, you should not touch yourself. You will nullify your wudu. But if it's permanently removed off you, then you still have your wudu. Understood? If it's permanent, because you're not touching anything anyways, you have nothing. Khairan inshallah. So let's continue. The next thing that we have is wabil lams. Now deliberately touching. which is touching and holding like that. We said mas over here is to touch accidentally and let go. But al-lams is you're looking for it. أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاء. You touched women by looking for that feeling itself. The ulama divide it to 4 types. There is that first person that it says over here, وَهُوَ عَلَى أَرْبَعَةِ أَقْسَامٍ الْقِسْمُ الْأَوَّلِ إِنْ قَصَدَ اللَّذَّةِ. If you deliberately touch the opposite gender, وَوَجَدَهَا. If someone will come with the idea and say that this person doesn't have a gender, I don't know, there's trans and all of that, this person has a gender actually. So you just need to define what gender they fall into, the male one or the female one, before they even decided to transform before that. Understood? That's how it is. So if a male comes to you presenting himself as a woman, and then you touched him and you thought you broke your wudu, then you discovered that they're a man, your wudu is still there anyways. All you touched is a man. I know this is absurd and bonkers, but you got to know about it. That's the modern world that you live in right now, whether you like it or not. Understood? So they say in qasad al-ladha. If you intended the desire, basically feeling that sexual desire within you, وَوَجَدَهَا, and then you got the feeling itself, then you have to repeat your wudu. فَعَلَيْهِ الْوُضُوء. Number 2, in wajadaha. Okay, in wajadaha. If this person, they did not deliberately want to touch the other gender, the opposite gender, but while they touched them, you felt a lovely shock going through your body. Maybe your wife was so beautiful that day you didn't want to touch her. Then all of a sudden when she handed you the tea, her fingers already put you in electricity mode. Yeah. Do you have your wudu? No, you don't. Yeah. All those magnets, South Pole, North Pole, they've been working some funny stuff inside you. You don't have wudu. Go repeat your wudu. You don't have your wudu. But then you have the miskin. Who is the poor one? Is the one that qasadaha. He literally deliberately touches the opposite gender. Lakin lam yajidha. He does not get anything in return. Basically, they don't feel anything. He still has to do wudu. The same applies to a woman. If the wife touches the husband deliberately, wanting to cop a feel, and then there's nothing that they get out of it, they still have to repeat wudu. Because al-ibratu bil-qasd, an-niyyah. What we pay attention to is what? The intention that you make. But then you have the last one, which definitely they don't do wudu. Who are they? The ones whom they did not intend to even touch, and on top of that they didn't even get it. It's when you've lived with your wife 40 years and now you're fed up. You say, you're too old.
Sorry, I don't get what do you mean that touch? Touch like this?
Yeah, touch like that. Let's say, for example, you came from outside. Your wife came and greeted you, isn't it? They gave you a simple hug. But that normally that hug does not nullify your wudu. Is it? You guys got to do it more often so that children can see it rather than seeing it outside. So it doesn't sound creepy in the masjid. Look, when you, for example, she hugged you, then all of a sudden you guys touched hands. It wasn't deliberate. Understood? It wasn't deliberate. That occurs a lot. Or you don't do that. Tell me you don't. Because there's a friend of mine, he told me my father was showing me how much of a man he is. And he believed it as a miskin. That he did not tell his mother, the father did not tell the mother for 19 years, I love you. He's honestly an absurd father. How do you do that? 19 years and you call yourself a man. And the mother is okay living that life for 2 decades onwards. And this young man is about 25 years old. Think about it. So if, for example, you did not deliberately, if you touched one another, but there is no it didn't happen deliberately. And yet as well, you did not feel anything. There was nothing, no desire whatsoever. Then you're fine. You have your wudu. So it's not so rigid to say that your wudu will be gone just because you wanted to touch each other. The intention here is to touch one another for the main of what we're looking into is the intention of touching and wanting to feel something. Does that make sense? But if you felt something, even if you did not intend to touch, then also your wudu is gone. I hope that makes sense. And I don't want to open up these masail and all of those because there's issues. For example, what if you kissed your wife? Does that nullify your wudu? You kissed her on the forehead. You kissed her on the lips. On the lips, there's no question that it does break your wudu. Even if you felt nothing. Only in two occasions. The occasion is if, for example, she's on her deathbed or she's traveling and you guys are not going to meet for so long. Understood? As long as there's no desires in between, you're fine. But if you kiss your wife and then your wudu dalif, you literally felt something out of it, which 99% of the time you would. Understood? Then your wudu is fine. So these are masail which I don't want to get into right now. If I do, we're not going to finish, as I said. So just know that as we move along, inshallah. After mentioning the issue of touching the opposite gender, the next thing that we have is وَلَا يَنْتَقِضُ الْوُضُوء بِمَسِّ دُبُرٍ. As we said, your wudu does not nullify by touching your rectum. Your rectum is your back passage, the main opening. It does not nullify your wudu. Okay? Another one is وَلَا أُنْثَيَيْن بِمَعْنَى وَلَا الْأَلْيَتَيْن. Alyatain are the two testicles. That does not nullify your wudu either. That's what you do. And what if someone literally touches themselves just above their private part, which is where the pubic hair grows? Does that nullify your wudu? No, it does not. وَلَا الْعَانَةِ وَلَا بِمَسِّ مَوْضِعِ الْجَنْبِ. Even that, we're not ever going to talk about. Which means, if, for example, you went to do a ghusl, a shower, and then while you were rubbing over your body, maybe ghusl al-janaba or ghusl al-jum'ah, understood? You are going to do that, and then you touch your buttocks, or maybe the crack of your buttocks and all of that, or maybe you touch the top of your private parts and that. It does not nullify your wudu in the process. What nullifies your wudu is touching your actual organ itself, as we mentioned, and that is the penis. Because remember, when you're taking ghusl of janaba, you do wudu before the shower itself. Barakallahu feekum. But then the difference between ghusl al-jum'ah and ghusl al-janaba is that which one do you have to wash your feet, basically rub over your feet while you're taking the shower, and which one do you don't have to. We're going to come to that inshallah ta'ala. Understood? Now how about وَلَا بِمَسِّ فَرْجِ صَغِيرَةٍ لَا تُشْتَهَى أَوْ صَغِيرٍ أَوْ بَهِيمَةٍ. What does this mean? It does not nullify your wudu if you touch the private parts of a young child. For example, you have a child who's gone to the toilet and they cannot wash themselves, you have to go wash them. Even if a pervert does it, the pervert does not have their wudu broken. Because what the Sharia has provided is that if you touch the private parts of your child, it does not nullify the wudu. Understood? But you wouldn't want an outsider literally looking at your child's body. Of course not. I don't know if someone can you close the door, please? Understood? So touching a small child does not nullify your wudu. Bear that in mind. It's as simple as that. Now, there is we said about the pervert, and there's an issue of the other issues which I don't want to get into as well. There's too much basically, and I want to finish. Another one is wala qay'. Even vomiting does not nullify your wudu. Is that clear? Vomiting does not nullify your wudu. سواء تغير عن حالة الطعام أم لا ومن باب أولى القلس. Okay? What does that mean? If, for example, you just ate and the food has not mixed itself with your intestines and that, and then you vomit it out, does the door have a problem? It doesn't hold. That's fine. Can you put that chair there then? Because Basit is gonna ruin the whole class. Oh, that's fine, yeah. Barakallah fiqh. We have a unique class over here. We're gonna have to make people start paying and then lock the door. Look, if you vomit, even if the food, the vomit that came out is not mixed with your insides yet, bear that in mind, with your stomach, which means it hasn't digested yet, or maybe it has. In any case, it doesn't nullify your wudu. Illa عند الأحناف. To the Ahnaf, what they say is that it does nullify your wudu. Something which is mentioned over here, which I don't think if it's mentioned as it is though, ad-dahik, laughing. When you laugh in salah, the Ahnaf say it nullifies your salah and your wudu. You have the Ahnaf, they say if you laugh in salah, your salah is batil, invalid. MashaAllah. The soldier is here. MashaAllah. Look, they say if you laugh in salah, your salah is invalid and your wudu is invalid. You have to repeat everything. Like in khilafan al-madhab, and also I believe in the Shafi'i madhab as well, and I believe in the Hanbali madhab, all of them agree with the fact that laughing in salah, it does nullify your salah. It breaks your salah, but it does not nullify your wudu. But what do you do if you laugh in salah while the imam is leading and you are following the imam? Do you leave the salah or do you continue with the salah? And if you do continue with the salah, what do you do? If the imam says salam, do you stand up or do you break the salah with the imam and then do it again? It depends. But we're going to come to that when we come to salah, inshallah. But just know, laughing does not nullify your wudu. So وَلَا قَيْء سَوَاءً تَغَيَّرَ أَمْ لَمْ يَتَغَيَّرْ, whether it does change or it does not change, it does not nullify your wudu, but it is regarded as najasa, najis. When it changes, basically, when vomit, when it changes and becomes part of you, and what comes out of you is not food anymore, is actual digestion of your organs on the inside, then that's it. That is najasa now. I hope that makes sense. That's the whole reason why they're mentioning qay as well. If it does not change, it's not najis. If it does change, it is najis. But does it nullify your wudu? It does not. So because it's najis, you get rid of it. The difference between qay, however, and khamr, which is beer or wine or anything, muskir basically. And we say muskir as well is not fair because we included those which are halal that might lead you to become drunk. But let's talk about the haram ones which make you drunk. We said that if you are to consume anything that is haram, which is known to make a person drunk, if you do not become drunk, then maybe I said it nullifies your wudu, but it does not nullify your wudu actually. But your salah is not accepted. It might not nullify your wudu, but your salah is not accepted, which you fall into the same category of not having your wudu accepted as well. There's a difference of having wudu nullified and having that you do wudu, but it's not yet accepted. Because you want to do wudu, but then you have najasa on your body. How would that wudu be accepted? Yes.
Can you use that wudu to touch the mushaf?
No. Because it's غير معتبر. It's not considered. It's the type of wudu that is not considered until you're clean. It's, for example, you're doing wudu and then constantly you have urine. You have urine on the places of wudu. How does that wudu pass by? It doesn't make sense. So when you drink something, even if you don't become drunk, but this thing is haram, because you drank it, your salah becomes invalid. It's not accepted. And then on top of that, your wudu will constantly have a problem because of the consumption of haram, which takes about, according to the hadith, 40 days. 40 days, isn't it?
40 days.
Yeah. To withdraw from your system.
The concept of the hadith, I think it was that you have to pray for 40 days, but for those 40 days, your salahs.
Yeah. You still pray, but they're not غير معتبر. Yeah, you still pray, but they're not accepted. You don't say 40 days and then I'll just sleep around. That's it, yes. That is to have adab with Allah. Is to have respect with Allah. Because if you don't pray, then that means you're trying to do the same thing as what Iblis did. Because Iblis, when he was told to do sujood, what did he say? Why should I? If Adam is better than me, then why should I? He failed to see through exactly Allah's plan. I hope that's clear. Inshallah. Now, qay is different from khamr. We said vomiting is different from wine and beer. Because wine and beer, yes, you might do your wudu, but then you always have a khalal, a problem. And your salah would not be accepted. However, with qay, you cleanse yourself, because when you drink with the mouth. When you vomit from the mouth. From the mouth, you rinse your mouth, you clean yourself, and then you do your wudu if you don't have wudu, and you carry on. Or maybe you cleanse yourself and you can carry on with whatever you have, inshallah. However, the last few things that we want to mention is that وَلَا بِأَكْلِ لَحْمِ جَزُورٍ. What is that? If you eat camel meat. Camel meat to the Hanabila, you don't have wudu. That's correct, right? For the Malikiya, you do have wudu. You have wudu. You have wudu, yes. Because look, I forgot the evidence. I haven't gone through those stuff because I didn't really want to bring those to consideration at the moment. But there is a point. Look, al-ibilu tayyib. Al-ibilu tayyiba. These, just a second, don't forget your question though. Camels, they're pure in themselves. But they say that the hikmah, according to the Hanabila, the wisdom behind doing wudu is because of the nature of the animal. That's why you repeat your wudu. Because the nature of a camel, when you consume it, a camel is literally majestic and always proud. So you have to literally remove yourself from that by doing that wudu. But that doesn't stand as a reason, according to the Malikiya, to say that you have to repeat your wudu after you eat the camel meat. Because yet, the camel itself is magnificent, but it's also pure, just like any other cattle existing out there. And it's halal to consume, that's it. But you don't consume dogs. Even though we say there's an issue we do have some leeway with the dogs, but that's not what it means. You don't take a little pet dog and bring it at home. There's no Maliki that accepts that. Honestly speaking, there's no Maliki that accepts that. What type of dog do we accept? A guide and a security dog. So when we say dogs, we mean dogs that help, not dogs that literally run around your home like a little child. No. So camel meat is fine. Okay, ibil manhura, meaning to say that the camel themselves, they have to be slaughtered. Because if you consume a camel, any animal that is najis, you've consumed what? Something impure. As long as you consume something impure, your wudu will constantly have to be what? Repeated. But because you consume something pure, then you're fine. But you don't eat a camel that has not been slaughtered. Bear that in mind. Wala hijama wala fast. Even hijama does not nullify your wudu. Hijama doesn't. Because it's blood, yes, but it's not the type of blood that stays on your body. It's bad blood that is removed off your body and then is taken away. Understood? The type of blood that literally causes your wudu now, it leads to even your wudu become what? Invalid. It's when it's literally coming out of your body from a cut or all of those. This one is for dawa. This one is for medicine. Because when it comes to najasa, blood can lead to your wudu having an issue. Because it depends on where you cut. It depends on where you cut. But I'll come back to you with that mas'ala, inshallah.
Gum disease.
That's different, you're fine. Gum disease, you're fine. Gums disease, yeah. You're fine. If you have blood questions, keep them for the end. We have only 2 more lines to finish. وَلَا بِقَهْقَهَةٍ فِي الصَّلَاةِ. We said that even if you go in salah, or maybe you... وَلَا فَصْلٍ. Fasting and hijama is the same thing. Yeah. Fast basically is when you pull blood out by using, what is it, pipes and that? What is it that you do? You do blood withdrawal when you go to donate blood.
Blood donation.
Blood donation and that, you're fine. Fast.
Blood donation.
Yeah, it's not blood donation. Taking out blood of your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like dialysis.
Is it called dialysis?
That's when you have like
Yeah.
you put blood back in, and you're taking the old blood back out on dialysis.
Yeah, that should be fine. That should be fine. وَلَا بِمَسِّ إِمْرَأَةٍ فَرْجَهَا. We said وَلَا بِقَهْقَهَا, which is laughing in salah, or maybe in salah, or talking in salah. These do ruin your salah, but they don't nullify your wudu. However, if a woman touches her private parts, it does not nullify her wudu as well. If a woman touches her private part, it does not nullify her wudu. A woman is different from man, but not for that reason. If she touches herself for that reason, then no. When I say that reason, I mean masturbation. You don't do that. That's haram. The reason why women is fine is because, first of all, they have layers before they even get on the inside. But they say, the ulama, they've differed on this. Assalamu alaikum. The ulama, they've differed on this. No, that's fine. They say that if she literally fondles, her wudu is gone. Okay? If she fondles, her wudu is gone. If she fondles, if she literally sticks a finger inside her. Yeah. Is that clear? A woman has layers. So you can't say that she breaks her wudu just by touching herself immediately. But she does nullify her wudu if she literally fondles. She goes beyond that. Yeah, that's what it is. That's why they said, وَقِيلَ إِنْ أَلْتَفَتْ فَعَلَيْهَا الْوُضُوء. If she does do that, then she has to repeat her wudu. Like in some ulama, they provided, which they say is the correct of the madhab, even if she does fondle, depending on the intention behind it. Even if she does fondle, depending on the intention behind it. But a woman should avoid doing that anyways, because it will lead her to nullify her wudu anyways. Understood? They shouldn't do that, inshallah. In regards to blood, and also maybe to have more understanding on the issue of fondling of a woman, these two things I will come back to you with them in our next class, and then we're going to enter into to the chapter of water. What type of water you should be using for doing wudu, inshallah. And this will call the end of our class for today. Yes. I decided to keep it short. Yeah. You know why? I've noticed for the last 2-3 weeks, if I go into too much detail, we don't finish. There is so much detail, if I try to break them down, it's not going to work. It's only going to work if anyone wants to take it further and become a serious student, then yes, I'll break down the book for you until you love every bit of it. You want to become a student of knowledge. But beyond that, because we have it in the masjid, this is enough for one to know, inshallah. For you to know what is obligatory upon you, compulsory, is enough. But if you want to take it further, this is not how we do it. We do it even deeper than this. I hope that makes sense, inshallah.
Before you go into your part,
Yes.
just back there, ولا بأكل لحم جزور. So if you eat the meat of camel,
yeah.
that's not no.
No, he doesn't nullify. Yes.
So is that the same as Hanafi?
In the Ahnaf, I am not sure whether he does or he doesn't. You do or you don't. But I know it's makruh to eat fish. What is it? It's seafood. Yeah, octopus. There's not only octopus, all seafoods except for fish, I think. Just fish. But everything else. Man, in the sea, there's so many nice foods, and the Ahnaf are telling us you can't eat them. You guys are a sad bunch. Yes.
So, in case your wife dies, and the husband needs to wash her wife. So, in case when he's washing, you probably need to touch So, if the husband has while even after washing the wife, so or does he invite this to do?
Well, because let alone touching a private part, because you're washing a dead body, you have to repeat your wudu. As far as I remember, yes, you have to repeat your wudu. You're washing a dead body, you repeat your wudu. Yes. Al-manu, mani basically. Mani is najis, yeah. I don't think in the Shafi'iyah if it's najis now. The Shafi'iyah mani is tahir, isn't it? It's pure, it's fine. But mani in the Maliki madhab is impure. But the problem, the reason why they did not mention it from this is because many, it is regarded as not of those that require wudu, but actually it requires an actual ritual bath, ghusl, a complete bath. Okay? There are certain situations, if you have money coming out, then you don't take a shower. If money is to come out of your body, basically sperms, if it comes out of your body because you're ill, or maybe something happened to you, and then all of a sudden it just came out, basically the unnatural way, you do wudu rather than shower. I hope that makes sense.
Does it separate between, like, because there are different types of movies, does it separate between as well? There are different types, and there'll be like, there's the one that's released with pleasure, and there's other ones that are pre.
Yeah, pre-seminal fluid is known as madhi. And there's al-wadi. With al-madhi, waghsil jami'a al-farji nawil lil-madhi. You wash your whole private part. If you fall into a position of having madhi coming out of, madhi is pre-seminal fluid. If it comes out of you, you wash everything including your testicles, and then you do wudu. What about al-wadi? You only wash the head of the penis. Al-wadi, which is the type of fluid that either comes out of you after urinating, or maybe you've had a long day, or maybe you've carried something heavy, then you only wash the head of the penis. That's it. And you repeat your wudu.
So if someone receives blood through blood transfusion, so does it notify the baby?
It does not. Wala fast, which is blood. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, transfusion. Yeah, it does not nullify your wudu. Should be fine.
Last week lesson, we were talking about Wama wa Hasbul Adal, for the sleeping one. You said that it's been divided into 4 parts.
Yeah.
We called the third one, but I can't remember. I tried to look for the fourth one. Lesson.
Yeah, okay. There are 4, but they are 2. There are 4, but 2 like that. What do I mean by that? Either that sleep falls into the heavy sleep category, deep sleep, or it falls into the light sleep category. Any one of those 2. However, for these 2, heavy sleep, basically deep sleep and light sleep, you either have a long sleep or short sleep. So that already makes it 4. You know what I mean? So if it's long, basically, if it's short and deep sleep, heavy sleep, do you have wudu? No. If it's long and deep sleep, do you have wudu? No. But if it's short and light sleep, do you have wudu? Yes. But if it's short, if it's long and light sleep, do you have wudu? Huh? You do have wudu, but it's best you repeat it.
Short sleep, isn't it?
No, long sleep, but light.
Light.
Yeah.
Long one, concealer.
You know what I like? You know what I like about this text? It's literally opened up masail already that you don't even. If we were to, let's say, for example, study like Khalil, which is very high, basically the highest, not the highest in the madhab, but the highest of what students learn and memorize. Did you know in Morocco, basically North Africa, Morocco, Jazair, Mauritania, the Maliki madhab being the prominent madhab that took over the lands over there in North Africa, people were memorizing Khalil like memorizing Quran. No matter how difficult and confusing it was, but you had to memorize it. To a position where there was a time, if you want to give a woman dowry, you have to come back to the father and you've memorized the whole Khalil. That's her dowry. If you haven't memorized it, there's no woman for you. I bet all of us will be single for the rest of our lives. Because if fathers will literally just, they will want from us, they will want to pull from us the memorization of Quran. I think the Imams are going to get married, but the rest of the other ones are not going to get married. Think about it. But this tells you something. Deen was very high. Religious knowledge had extreme importance. And it was glorified by the Ummah. But not today. Today we've watered down the deen so much that if you find someone narrating to you the same 3 hadiths every single khutbah, you're like, mashallah, Imam Sahab, this is the Imam you have. But actually, if you literally look into our religion, we have a database of knowledge that the world has not ever seen before. The Umayyad dynasty had the biggest library that existed on earth. The Jewish religion has never seen. Which today we say, the Jewish religion, Jews, they have the biggest libraries that it dwarfs the libraries of Muslim lands or Muslim libraries. That's how big of libraries they have. How do you think a Jewish child grows up? They don't have a phone. Their fathers literally use Nokia 33s. Do you know the Nokia 33s? You remember those? Yeah, those they don't have TV at home. All they have is a massive hallway which contains books from one side to the next. That child goes through all of those. What they teach their children to do is, while they're making their tea, they're holding a book and reading. And when they sit down to have their bread and tea, there's a book on the side that they're reading, or they're listening to a podcast. Our children, mom or dad goes, makes the food, and they're busy playing Fortnite. Yes. And then when the food comes and it's disgusting, Mom, what type of food is this? I don't want this. Those are the type of kids we have. Think about it.
I'm wondering how they live. I work with this one cab office. The phone that you say, they don't have a smartphone, yeah? While you're driving with the kids.
When you look at them, when you see them and you see them, they're rich. They hold the world in their hands. You see that firsthand today. You don't even need to be told. The reason why they control the world, they have the power, they have the law, they have the knowledge, is because they already did the work. Us, we decided to go for what was meaningless. Easy life. Sleep more, fall into diabetes for eating too much. That's what we want. But we have not yet set our priorities right. And I'm not going to be nice to say that, yes, the Ummah has a lot of course the Ummah has a lot of khair, and the spirit is still alive. But look at what we are deciding to take in to prioritize. A 13-year-old child then, and Imam Malik, mathalan, do you know when he started giving fatwa? And fatwa then is not fatwa today. Fatwa then is, you don't just memorize Quran and that. First of all, you're born Arab in a place where the language that is spoken is Fusha Arabic. Not that you have to go learn it. There's no Al-Arabiyyatu bayna yadayk, Al-Qira'atu Rashida, I don't know, Al-Nahw Al-Wadih. There's no such thing as Ajrumiyya or Mughni Al-Labib to make you a grammarian. There's no such thing as that. It was natural in their system, embedded. They grew up like that. Understood? But Al-Imam Malik, from the age of 13, he sought knowledge. By the time he reached 21, he has the shahada, basically the certification in modern terms, the approval of 70 scholars that tell him now you can give fatwa in the masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is a 13-year-old doing today? And we were discussing about this last night. He remembers. Remember, even the schooling system literally destroys the minds of our children. Not that the schooling system has a problem, but literally they're categorizing everyone in the same category, and we will agree. I don't deny that. If your child has so much potential this high, the school will make sure that that child's potential is over here. So the child doesn't develop. So when there's empty space in the mind, what does the child do? Games, messing around. And if they have nothing to fill it in with, that's when they start becoming aggressive, angry, and always they have an empty space for them to fill it with grudges and all of that. So you see that happening, literally appearing in their behavior, manifesting itself in their behavior. So you have to be responsible to see, how does the child grow up? Even if they go to school, you can't afford homeschooling and all of that, they go to school, do this. That empty space they have, fill it in with a lot of knowledge which is necessary for them. They have to memorize Quran, they have to memorize Hadith, they have to memorize Arabic as a language. There's all of those they need to learn. They have to memorize Fiqh on top of that. They don't even yet know their Aqidah. What time do they have to waste? Think about it. Inshallah, we'll stop here. And if you don't have any questions, I really appreciate it, because you're going to make me dumb in a second. I don't have answers for them, inshallah. So until next week, I'll come back to you with other issues which relate to what we've covered, if necessary. But immediately we're going to start with the types of water that you can use to do wudu, and the types of water you can use on your day-to-day activities, and what type of water you should avoid, inshallah. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم.
So many Muslim beneficial. Sometimes you back with kids and you thinking because you touching spirit whether you have to do or not, it's confusing. You say okay because you don't know, you just have to repeat what we do. But you need to know, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, the madhab allows you that. You're fine.
Allah, so that is much beneficial.
Someone in the street asked a question.
What did they ask?
If you drink something that contains 0.001% alcohol, does your salah not valid for this?
That has 0.001% alcohol.
Tiny bit.
A tiny bit.
No, that's what she was.
Ask him, how does it taste? You shouldn't drink it anyways. You'll ruin your wudu. Why do you?
Some orange juices like that.
Huh?
Some fruit juices.
Some fruit juices.
Like orange juice, apple juice.
If you have alcohol.
No, that's not after a while, naturally, they will develop it.
No, when they start developing, you avoid it. It's like having what? Vinegar. Vinegar then changes to become what? Alcohol. You don't drink it. Or maybe you have alcohol. I think it's the other way around. Alcohol turns and becomes vinegar. That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it becomes vinegar, it becomes halal.
So vinegar is halal.
Vinegar is halal. But in order to get vinegar, it has to be extracted from, what is it?
It's from alcohol, but I think
It's from alcohol. And then you keep it for so long, and then it switches from a haram to halal.
Well, I remember the scholars say that a Muslim can't make it
And you don't
because
make
you would
it.
be making, you would have had to have made alcohol to get it.
Yeah,
So
but it doesn't mean you can't buy it.
yeah, you can buy
You
it.
can buy it, but you don't go open a fermentation of alcohol. No.
It
says It depends on the place.
You can't carry a bottle of alcohol to give someone.
Because they say سد الذرائع أولى من جلب المصالح وسد ذرائع أبواب الفساد. That's why Isal Saliki says. What does that mean? Barring the means of fasad, corruption, it's far better than literally doing what? Bringing in that which benefits people. Because even if it does benefit you, but you know it's going to bring in corruption, it's not worth it. So protecting yourself is much better. Basically protecting the soul and the mind is much better than benefiting yourself for something that you know it might corrupt you. So it's the same as alcohol. Because if you do so, the next thing you do will be swimming in a pool of alcohol. You don't need chlorine for that. Barakallahu fiik. Yes. You go. Stay. Are you going to go up to someone?
You want to come see me?
I can't try and come after Salah. Now, would it make me too late?
His habits not
You want to go see his father? Call him, I'll tell you. If he says okay, then fine. Some nice tea and cake, yeah?
Inshallah.